Thank you, everyone, for participating in the very first episode of the Die, Laugh, Love podcast. Why would I call it the Die, Laugh, Love podcast? Well, I think we're all familiar with the idea of live, laugh, love. There's also a saying, it's a Latin expression, memento mori. And what that means is remember that you too shall die. And I don't ever want to be a Debbie Downer, but I think if we remember that our life is temporary and that we one day will die, I think that gives us all the reason in the world to live fully each and every day. I'm a big believer that the experience that we're all sharing together on planet Earth is collectively a vacation. Now, why would I call it a vacation? Because a vacation to me, by definition, is a temporary place where we go to enjoy ourselves and then we leave that place. This life of ours is a temporary place. We should be enjoying ourselves here on vacation Earth. And when we leave here, I'm a big believer that we go home. So again, remember that you too shall die. And before you do so, we will do our best to laugh and love while we're here. I'm a big believer in what I call vitamin joy. I think some people that are familiar with me and my work know me talking about vitamin joy. I was actually going to call this podcast the Vitamin Joy podcast until I found out that somebody else in the world knows about vitamin joy and they have a vitamin joy podcast. I call it vitamin joy because the world that we're in, as much as it should be a vacation, will serve us all trauma, stress, turmoil, grief, pain. And I call it vitamin joy because we're all going to have to deal with sickness and illness and old age and infirmity. As we are here on planet Earth, we must actively seek out joy to compensate for the grief and the pain and the turmoil that we're all going to inevitably get handed. So it's my intention today to not only channel spirit, but to bring love and to bring a little bit of joy and laughter to the people who are here. There's a lot to be said about me. I'm not going to take up the time here. Everybody here can find that out on my website, my story, how I got into this. There are some principles that I do want to share with everybody before we jump into it. I'm a big believer in speaking in analogies or metaphors. So here's a few that I'm going to just get out of the way. Then we're going to jump into the spirit channeling portion of our podcast. So everybody, no matter where you come from, no matter what background you have, just like your ancestors, you are going to die. We live and then we die. That's part of the human condition. While we are alive, I do very much see the relationship of our body and our soul like the marriage of a horse and a rider. You have a physical part of yourself that, by scientific definition, is a mammal. It is a mammal that needs shelter, water, clothing, fun, all of those things that a mammal would need. Your soul is the horse, or excuse me, the rider of that equation. When your horse dies, your body expires, the rider, your eternal self, gets off and keeps going. Where we go when we pass, that's a discussion for the ages. But what I have found is we don't go very far. A lot of people think of heaven as above the clouds or a disconnected, detached dimension to us. I don't see it as that at all. Every person that I've ever sat with has spirits with them all the time, not just every once in a while, but all the time. And the analogy that I like to use in terms of our relationship to where we go when we die, it's like the one-way mirror that we would see in a cop show. Everybody's pretty much familiar with the idea that one-way mirror, suspects on one side, cops on the other. We sit on the side of the suspects, where we are pretty oblivious to what's going on the other side of the mirror. Our spirits, our ancestors, our friends, our teachers, our pets, they sit on the side of the cops, where they see us, they feel us, they know us. And they are a great source of our intuition. I have found that the language of spirit is feeling. We will feel something from spirit, whether it is from the land, from a higher angelic source, from an ancestor. We'll feel something as a message from spirit. And then it takes about a half a second before our rational mind kicks in, translates what we receive in our own voice. And those things will happen more for us when we are chill out, when we're driving or in the shower or doing dishes, when what the Buddhists call our monkey mind quiets down, spirit can come through to us in a more clear voice. So I'm just a guy that has figured out how to pull messages from the world of spirit to here. I am going to spend about an hour channeling spirit. The way this should work is I am going to start to describe an entity or a spirit that is with me. I want to describe this person, and then I'm going to ask the people that are on this call with me to unmute themselves or wave their hand. I can right now see everybody on the screen, but I want you to wave your hand. I want you to talk to me. I want you to, go, oh, I think that's my person. We might have a little bit of a discussion about whose, say, father is whose or what have you. But that's how I'm going to do it, because I've had a few spirits with me and they are all in order. Knowing that we were going to do this, knowing that people were going to show up, I want to talk about who's here with us today. Now, remember that this is a participation podcast, meaning that if this is your person, please feel free to wave your hand. I'm going to unmute you, or you can unmute yourself. But the worst thing that you can do for a fellow like me in a position that I'm about to put myself in is to say, or to not say anything. I've done this before where a person would then see me after and go, I'm pretty sure that was for me, but I didn't want to take it from anybody else. Please don't be that person. Please come forth and say, hey, I think that's my person. It may be, it may not be, but the worst thing that I could have happen right now is for you guys to just be quiet and go, I don't know if that's my person. Okay. So I want to talk to you about this woman, and she's been giving me this word that is with me. And words in the work that I do are very funny. I'm actually spiritually dyslexic. I had a woman come through one time, call herself Carol. Her name was Claire. So that gives you an idea how words and letters can get mixed around for me as I do this. I have had a woman yelling at me with the word pearl, pearl, pearl. Now, pearl might actually be her name, or you might have pearls of hers. This is going to be a Spitfire. This is going to be a grandmother. This is going to be somebody from a different generation. And interestingly, I'm not sure if she was from Europe, but I feel like she would have known her parents or her grandparents that were from Europe. Um, this is a woman who's talking to me about the finer things in life, getting together with our family, enjoying good food, enjoying good drink. She would have liked coffee. She's telling me that Americans are really getting it wrong. Like, we're all caught up and we're all concerned about things that are not really important. So I want to talk to somebody. Does anybody here have a grandmother actually named Pearl? If you don't have a grandmother named Pearl, I'm seeing a giant pearl. So you might have a pearl ring, pearl necklaces. Anybody have an inheritance from a grandmother that would have been a pearl? Okay, so we've got Emily and Lisa. Emily, if you could unmute yourself, please.
Hello.
Hi. All right. So what I'm going to do here is, thank you for this. I'm going to actually try to spotlight us both, Emily. So give me a moment. I'm going to spotlight me, and then I'm going to spotlight you, and that should bring us both up for everybody. Okay, you see that? There we go. Perfect. All right. So Emily, let's start with Pearl. Is there somebody named Pearl in your life? No.
No.
You got a pearl like ring or a necklace?
She has one from her mom who's English, and she was mad about America before she passed away. And I don't think she liked coffee though.
She did. She
Oh.
liked coffee until she couldn't like coffee anymore. So
Gotcha. Okay, so we have Emily, and Emily, who's with you?
This is my mom, Lisa.
Hi, Lisa. Thank you for joining us. Okay.
Hi.
So Being that she was from England, she would have had a connection to Europe, yes? Okay.
Yes, for sure.
All right. Well, I'm just clarifying here. Okay. So, connection to England, liked coffee, would have a really appreciated good food, good drink. This feels like very much sitting down and just appreciating conversation. I'm not from England. I spent very little bit of time there, but isn't tea a big deal?
It's a big deal for sure. Yeah.
Sitting down and enjoying one another, conversation, the biscuits and tea sort of stereotype. Okay.
Moreover, moreover, savories and late, like when you say tea, it really means supper. So, like to the Brits, yeah, it's like your
Gotcha. Gotcha.
the last meal. It's your tea, which is your supper. So,
Thank you for that. Now, um, I was hearing this like upsetness. I don't want to say upsetness, but yeah, no, she's telling me it's upsetness. You said she would have been unhappy with America or Americans.
I think with the world in general, and in terms of the politics, and she grew up in the war, World War II. She was a child during World War II, and she always likened what's going on now currently was much scarier than the things she experienced as a child with the bombs and the, yeah, just because
Wow.
everything is so uh, covert and hidden. I mean, and then there's these agendas and these things going on that seem to be beyond anybody's control, and then lack of this is going to get a little bit political, but the lack of real information, with mainstream, and it's just it was very sad for her um, last few years. So
So let me ask you, as I'm sitting with her, I'm getting this feeling of like, and this might actually be related to what you were talking about. I'm getting this feeling of like being upset at plastic, like fake things. Like, when you say there's not enough real information, I'm getting this feeling of like too much, almost like too much junk, too much fakeness, too much plastic. Like there's this dislike of plastic that I have. So I think there's this energy of authenticity. How do we know what's real information? I think that's an appropriate conversation for all of us to have. But there is this, she must not have liked consumerism or materialism. She must not have
I
appreciated
don't
that.
know. There are certain things that meant she was always, to be honest with you, her her maiden name was Cuthbert, but her married name was Jones. And keeping up with the Joneses was really important to her. I mean, you have to have the best of everything, the best clothing, the most important jewelry. You had to have all these things were what the world thought around her was all very important. What other people thought, it's like, despite all the crap that might be going on in your life, you had to present a different kind of a persona to the world socially. You had to be this perfect person. Very British.
Appreciate that. I appreciate that. I do want to I do want to translate the message that she's got for me here about plastic. Emily, I've got to ask you a question. And you appear to be an adult woman, so I'm going to ask you a very funny question here. Do you have toys?
I have
Like toys, like plastic toys sitting on a shelf?
Yes. Sorry.
I'm trying. Do I?
Just plastic toys sitting on the shelves of her grandmother's bedroom, of things that Emily thought she knew. They were silly little things, but she would present them to her grandma, even as
Gotcha.
an adult. Yeah. So
Okay. Lisa, let me ask you, why she would be telling me. I have to ask you, did you and her fight ever or argue? And the reason that I say this is I want to apologize to you, or I want to talk to you about, I'm sorry it took us so long to get there. Like, I'm sorry it took us so long to get there. Why does she want to apologize to you? It feels like there's some sort of reconciliation in your past.
I guess I'm trying to think. I have the words in my head and I can't express it. She was what's the word, Emily? You know the word. She was sort of narcissistic and judgmental, and that I was, I was personally always looking for approval, and I never. It was like what's the word? Conditional approval that I would receive. Well, that was wonderful, but you could have done this or you could have done that, and it was only sort of the last 6 years of her life that she lived with me, and it became like quite apparent that, and then of course being elderly, their brains become a little bit less functional, so, and the filters kind of evaporate, and so then there were times I would go, like I'd go grocery shopping and she'd say, "Where have you been for the last 3 days? Where did you go? Why didn't we talk about this? Where have you been?" And I think that was not really my mother. It was just the capacity of what she had going on there. And I always said, "I'm sorry you feel that happened, but it didn't happen." I've been here every day, and I try to remind her of the meals we'd had or the things we'd done. But she would say, "Where were you?" And she would get angry with me. And I knew that wasn't her. So I would just suck it up, and I'm very thick skinned. So, and I never retaliated, or I could never say anything nasty in response, because that's my mother. And I know she's not really in control. And if she's apologizing, I think that's why she would be apologizing.
Gotcha. So she had a dementia or an Alzheimer's cognitive decline or something?
Decline, yes. Never anything that was diagnosed. Never severe enough to be diagnosed. But definitely in that we spent every day together over the last 6 years. It was something that I saw. Even though the doctors didn't recognize it, I knew it was happening.
It's interesting because I keep getting this message of, I'm sorry it took us so long to get here. Probably she might literally be meaning here today, you and me having this conversation, having that sense of closure or even clarity. Now, here's something
I
funny to
actually, I feel sad that she's apologizing, because there's no need. I mean, I always knew
Mhm.
how much she cared for me and how much she loved me. That was never a question. It was always just about, perception and what you can deal with and what we do for people in our lives that we care about. So I'm sad that even though she's gone, she's worried about this, because she doesn't need to worry about it.
Well, again, it could be something about in your life. It took you a while to get to a certain
Well,
point.
yeah, I spent my whole life with, always looking for approval and never getting it.
Gotcha.
Basically it. You know, we all
So
want our parents' approval. And
we do, or most of us do. Absolutely. Most of us do.
it's not like she was a horrible parent, but it was, there was never any, that's fabulous. That's great. Let's, you keep doing that. It was more like, that's fabulous, but you should have done this or you should have done
Like
that.
a carrot on a stick, constantly being dangled. And
Yeah, Emily saw it.
yeah.
Everybody saw
like
it.
in Mulan, like with the little dog.
So I want to tell you something funny, Lisa, that's happening or happened to me prior to this. I kept hearing the word pearl, and then after that, I kept hearing Peaky Blinders.
Oh my God.
Now, Peaky Blinders to me, I'm like, so remember how I was talking about Carol and Claire? Carol and Claire, the words getting mixed up. I kept hearing Pearl and then Peaky Blinders. And if you take the letters out of Peaky Blinders and put them in the, you'll have the word Pearl, like Pearl, but it wouldn't stop. Now, this woman being from England,
Can
I've
I
never
tell
seen the show Peaky Blinders,
you, I
but
haven't
I
even,
know it takes
my,
place in Britain.
my ancestors, the women, who were considered entrepreneurs in their lifetime, they were the powerful women of her ancestry. They were all pearly queens.
Hurley Queens.
Pearly queens. And if you search that, you'll see it's like the female entrepreneur of the year back in, late 18th, 1900s. Pearly queens. And they were recognized publicly and then adorned with this title. And then they wore clothing all like endowed with pearls, and they were called pearly queens.
Gotcha. I love that. So pearls, Peaky Blinders, those words all coming together, the British thing. I also want to ask you too, do you live in a neighborhood, Lisa?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you ever have, there's a sense of humor with this woman. You'd say that there was a sense of humor with your mother?
Yeah.
Okay. What's funny to me is that, can I ask you, in your neighborhood where you live, do you ever have like the loud exhaust or the like rum, rum, rum cars? Do they ever like pass by your house very loudly?
All the time. Yeah.
Oh, it's interesting because there's something about that that pisses you off.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
there's something about it that pisses you off. Now, this is where her sense of humor is coming in because, most of the time when you hear those big exhausts and the rum, 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 it's usually just kids being kids,
Oh, it's
kids
actually
just,
being morons too. It's like motorcycles and Harleys and muscle cars and people being stupid. Never kids.
yeah,
Kids are fine. But
your words, not mine, for sure. So what I'm just letting somebody else in here, Lisa. So the interesting thing is when that happens, now this shows you how much your mother's around.
she
When
is.
that happens, you get like the words that I'm hearing is you get full of piss and vinegar.
Oh
It's
yeah.
like
It's like
rah,
every
yeah,
time they
rah,
do it,
rah.
it's like what comes out of my mouth. It's not pleasant. So it's like
I
there's
am
no
telling you
need.
what, that makes your mother laugh.
Yeah.
That makes your mother laugh because it's like watching a comedy. I get the impression that you're very much like a sitcom that's happening. You don't even realize it,
Me?
but if you take that analogy of the one-way mirror and you look through it, that means you're your mother's movie.
Yeah.
If she's observing you and there's this loud exhaust, this loud, and it's getting you all going, that's funny to her.
Yeah.
That's funny to her. That makes her laugh. So,
She would get equally as pissed as I would when it happened and we were sitting on the porch. She would just, raise her fist but
but what's funny is this goes back to one of the things that I was saying at the beginning. Like, people are too worried about menial shit, like, things that don't matter, people not being concerned about sitting together with one another, enjoying good food and drink. So, not to like wag our finger at you, but from her perspective, where she's at, that's hilarious to her.
that's funny.
So, keep wait, apple jelly, apple marmalade, some sort of apple jelly or something. Did you make it or eat it?
Orange marmalade.
Orange marmalade. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So a fruit jelly, very important. Okay. What I'm trying to do is like I could sit with you for a couple hours, Lisa, and I don't want to. I want to move on to the next one. So I want to thank your mother for being here. Thank you for doing your best to roll with the punches and try not to take things as seriously as she might have. Okay. Remember the power of humor, if you can, please. Okay.
Always. Can I just say one little thing?
Please, of course.
This has been on my mind. Emily purchased a reading for me with you about 3 Christmases ago, and I still haven't used it. I've been afraid to use it. But I'm going to use it. Hopefully it's not expired. However, I just wanted to tell you that your name is Joshua Simon, correct? Both of my sons, I have a son named Joshua and a son named Simon. So I think that's a very strange coincidence.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So, and yes, it is absolutely still good. All you got to do is reach out to me and we'll get it set up. So don't worry about that. Okay. So hopefully with what we've shared here, it won't be that scary.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Okay.
better. It's
Okay.
lighter hearted than I thought it might be. So
I'm glad to hear that. That's what it's supposed to be for me, from my perspective. So thank you for that. I'm going to take you off spotlight and I'm going to bring forth the next person that is here. And this is a man. Here we go. I'm going to take you off spotlight. Thank you, everybody, for your patience. Okay. Now, remember, everybody, what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you take yourself off mute if this person is yours. The person that's coming through now feels like big daddy energy, big protector energy. I feel like either what I'm hearing is basketball was his life. Like basketball was his life. So is there anybody out there that had a dad that was a basketball coach? Anything like that? Basketball coach, dad was basketball. It's interesting because what I'm getting the impression of, he might have been a coach because it feels like there's a bunch of people who he would have called his own, like would have like mother hen in some hens. Really, really important. And this person feels a little bit local to me, like American, not any association with Europe or anything like that. So anybody here have a father or could be a grandfather whose basketball was his life?
Well, my dad played basketball in high school.
Okay.
It
Hi,
was
Jenny.
Hi.
Hi. So my question for you is your dad, he played basketball in high school?
hmm
Okay.
Yeah, he was a basketball star.
He was a basketball star, so basketball would have been his life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did he stay with me because this might not be for you. Okay. No, he's a dad. No, he's got lots of people that he's protecting. Like a coach, like you would go to him if you felt like scared. Somebody who's going to have that big protecting masculine vibe. Like you knew that somebody like him was like, if he was in the room, you knew that things were going to be okay.
Yep.
Is that him?
Yeah, he was a big guy, but he was quiet, the quiet giant type of guy. But if you got him mad, watch out.
No, I love that. I love that. Okay, so I'm putting you up here on spotlight. So here's your dad. This is definitely a father. Basketball was his life. Okay, his message for you, interestingly, is would you have known him to be innovative or creative, like always finding solutions, always finding weird workarounds, always looking outside the box, going, well, if it doesn't work this way, we're going to try it that way? Okay. He's trying to bring you that energy right now. There are things, and don't take this the wrong way. He shows me you pounding your head against the wall. And what that is to me is that's a sign of insanity, like doing the same thing over and over and over again, trying to get different results. Can I ask you, does that resonate with you? Like the doing the same thing over, can't find a solution,
Yeah.
trying the same thing? Okay.
Yeah.
Here's an interesting thing that I have for you. whatever challenges that you have in your life, you're going to have to be creative. You're going to have to be innovative. The things that you're trying right now are not working. And my guess is that it's personal relationships. And my guess is that there are people in your life who aren't seeing things the way you see things. This is what I'm seeing. Okay. Because what he's showing me is, if you're familiar with like working with toddlers, like I have a 21-year-old son, kids or anything like that, there's this idea of like getting down on your knee and looking at them eye to eye instead of like looking down at them and making them feel, really intimidated. There's somebody in your life that you need to get down eye to eye with. He keeps showing me like you're up here and you have to go down here. Like you have to take a very childlike approach with whatever challenges that you have. And this is one of the reasons why this person is here for you with everybody else, because Jenny, can I ask you, are you self-aware enough to know that you're pretty kick-ass? Do you know that you're pretty kick-ass?
Well, yeah, sort of.
Okay. Well, if you didn't know that, now you do, because that's what I'm getting from this man. The issue with that is, if you're competent and smart and strong and tough and doing all the right things and all of that, one of the worst ways that you can set yourself up for failure is to expect you out of other people. Like you can't expect you out of other people. Okay. And it's really important, because what he's showing me is, I'm just going to say it because we're all big family here now, husband or son or a male of some sort that you have to get down to and look at eye to eye. This is very, very like figurative, because the things that you're trying aren't working because you keep expecting you out of the other person.
Right.
And it's not going to work. So like, I'm sorry, I wish it could, but this is like the pounding of my head against the wall. It's frustrating, I know, but this is super important for you to understand. You bring a certain level of gifts and attributes to the table, but those aren't gifts and attributes that you can expect out of other people, not reasonably. Okay, like for one, hold on. So you're dealing with somebody who hasn't, and this could be a 50-year-old man for sure, but you're dealing with somebody who hasn't matured into an adult yet. So it's either a child or a man that hasn't matured into an adult, because the difference is between you and this person is like, you understand that your actions have consequences. Like you do a certain thing, it affects other people in a certain way. The person that you're banging your head against the wall around doesn't see that their actions affect others. So that's, to me, the definition of an adult, understanding that the actions that we make, the things that we do in this world have, it ripples out and has an effect on other people. So you gotta get down on your knees, figuratively speaking, with this person and talk to them. Okay. Can I ask you, Jenny, I know this is true for a lot of people. Does spring make you come alive? Is spring your favorite time?
Yeah, I've mentioned that. Yeah. Yep. I remember telling somebody that. I feel like it's a rebirth.
Okay, it's interesting because I'm seeing the flowers, I'm seeing Easter baskets, I'm seeing all of that. The other thing too, for you is interesting. Where you live, are you like local to me in Littleton? Are you local?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I'm below.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm below Lincoln.
So, yeah. Okay, so you're New England. You're New England.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna encourage you to do something very strange in the springtime. Do you have gardens and flowers outside in your yard?
Yeah, I tried to grow them, but yeah.
I'm seeing you do floral arrangements. I'm seeing them at the farmer's market. I'm seeing like a booth at the farmer's market where, there's baskets or there's something where it's interesting, because I do believe, Jenny, that what I'm getting from this man is like, you have devoted yourself to everybody in the world around you. You take very seriously all your labels, like mom, wife, worker, friend, daughter, all of them. He's really saying to me that you have nothing for yourself. Like nothing for yourself. Like you don't have anything that's just yours, your hobby, your thing. He goes, it's like, I do believe that you are like, he's showing me the center of the web. You're in the center of the web, and all the strands connect out to people. So you're like the matriarch of the family. So all the strands connect out to people. But he's like, everything you do is for people that you're connected to. So there's
Mm.
nothing just for you. Now,
Mm.
this is really like Sarah Ingalls Wilder, Laura Ingalls
Yeah, yeah.
Wilder, the
Right,
Little
right.
House on the Prairie,
Yeah,
trying
yeah,
to get
yeah.
things to be very simple and,
Yeah.
very, very basic. I think that, with our technology and social media and internet and, news and media and everything coming at us, we can all take things way too seriously, get overcomplicated.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
there's the two things right here. Pearl, I'll call her Pearl, and then Basketball Man, very much about the simple pleasures of life. Keep it simple. Now, your challenges, he's talking about your challenges. You're always going to have to be innovative and think around the corner. I
Mm.
don't really like the
Mhm.
expression think outside the box, but think
Yeah.
around the corner. There's a different approach that you have to take. Um, wow. Okay. So I don't know anything about you or your life, but he wants me to say this. He goes, the approach your mother would take is not going to work. So,
Oh gosh.
um, your mother
Yeah.
would have like the straightforward, say it how it's going to be. Like
Oh
that's
yeah.
not going to work for what issues that you're dealing with right now, because the people that you need to get down and look eye to eye with, they're
Yeah.
afraid of disappointing you.
Hmm. Okay.
So when you come at them straightforward and like, listen, clean up your act, do this, you're not paying attention. What they're receiving is like, I'm nothing but a disappointment. I'm nothing but a disappointment. He goes,
Mm-hmm.
Interestingly, he says that never worked out for your mother, never going to work out for you.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, the other thing too is like, wherever his memorial is, he's asking you to visit it more.
Mm. Okay.
Okay. So
Yeah.
if he's got a grave, go visit the grave. If he's got like
Yeah.
a bench, go visit the bench. Go.
Yeah.
Um, and interestingly, wherever his memorial is, can I ask you, does it have running water? Like,
Mm.
I don't know if it's a river, I don't know if it's a
Yeah.
waterfall or a
There could be
fountain.
something. Yeah, there could be something out back behind there. That's definitely water. I found a turtle there once, a little baby turtle at his grave.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that could
Yeah.
be the indication of the running
Yeah.
water,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The running water, like a
Yep.
water creature at his grave. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, the other thing too, let me ask you, because there's some physical stuff that comes through here, Jenny.
Okay.
You have spots on your body that go cold or numb, yes?
Yes.
Okay. You need a device.
Oh
You need a
gosh.
device. It looks like a big egg whisk. Do you know the device that looks like they're metal? It's a big
Oh
metal
yeah,
claw.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not a medical provider. You take everything that I have to say with a grain of salt, but
Yeah.
there's something about getting goosebumps,
Yeah, yeah.
okay? That will stimulate like nerve response. So it might help with the cold or the numbness.
Hmm.
Um, Interestingly, can I ask you, do you have a thing for race cars?
Mm, no. I mean,
Driving fast at all? Do you have a thing for like driving fast?
sometimes. Yes.
This wouldn't be just like I'm late to work. This would like, and I've got to drive fast to get there. This would be like, I like driving fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It is a release. Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
release. Well, I'll
Hmm.
tell you why I'm asking those questions. I'm seeing, I haven't heard of this movie in 20 years or 30 years. Do you remember Tom Cruise being in a movie called Days of Thunder?
Yeah, I do.
Maybe it's Tom Cruise that gives you the goosebumps. I
Oh
don't know,
gosh.
but I'm seeing like, I don't know. I'm seeing the fast cars. I'm seeing like the vroom, the
Yeah.
exhaust and all of
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
Um, just whatever you do, don't go by Lisa's house because Lisa get pissed off at you.
Oh my gosh.
The woman beforehand, the one who had like the vroom vroom outside her house. So for
Oh,
you,
oh,
yeah. I'm just saying, like, don't go by your house.
oh.
For you though,
Okay.
nope. This is really important. Could I ask you, were you a Hellraiser as a kid?
Yep, I was.
Okay. The reason now I'm not advocating recklessness or anything like
Mhm.
that.
Right.
He's saying that all of your responsibilities are like choking you.
Mm.
Like, I can't breathe. I got so many things I got to do. I
Yeah.
don't think that it's interesting. I don't think that you would have And far be it for me to say, I don't think you would have signed up for adulthood if you knew it looked like this.
Right. Oh my gosh.
Do you know, like, there's a lot that you're carrying. He's asking you to go back to your youth, go back to your youthfulness, the hell raising, go have some fun.
Yeah.
If you're below Lincoln, then you're near 93, Interstate 93. Maybe, I don't know, go out and just be safe, but go out
Yeah.
and, touch base with your youthfulness again.
Hmm.
But interestingly, not in a way that's going to cause you to be in danger. I mean, do you know what
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean? I'm
Yes.
trying to tell you how to have fun as a
Yeah.
responsible adult.
Yeah.
Okay. Um,
Yes.
do you not cook well?
I'm all right. It's okay.
Okay. He's talking about you trying not, definitely not making the things that he made because like the house smells or you burnt something. He's distinctly picking on your cooking skills.
Oh gosh.
So I've got to ask you, is there a dish that he made that he was known for?
Let's see.
If there is, don't make it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was called goulash. Ever heard of goulash or American chop suey?
Okay.
Yeah, I probably botched that a couple times. Yeah.
Last message for you. Are you are you not from here?
Like I'm originally from Massachusetts.
Okay, because he's
Yeah.
saying go back to your people.
Yep.
Like go back to your not permanently, but like
Yeah, yeah.
go visit.
Hmm.
Um, was there three other friends or three friends total in sixth grade for you?
Oh gosh, yes. Yep. Yeah.
Going back to
We
sixth grade, there's like a reunion here that he wants you to go, like go find your
oh,
people, go hang out with
okay.
them,
Yep.
go remember who you were before the world taught you who to be.
Hmm.
Go remember who you were before the world taught you who to be.
Yeah. I just got
That's really
goosebumps,
profound.
by the way. Yeah. Yeah, I will.
So, uh, it, and he's saying, go find a diner for me. Go find
Mm.
a diner, like a
Okay.
breakfast diner, coffee,
Yeah.
eggs, all
Yep.
of that.
Yep.
He
He
really
liked
likes the sound of the.
yeah, he liked
Sorry,
the
I'm just.
spa.
He liked the what?
It was called the spa, and he would go there for breakfast. It was like a local diner down in Massachusetts.
Would you go visit that for him,
I
please?
will. I will.
Yeah, please go visit that for him.
Yeah.
Really important that you connect to those roots, connect to who you were as a child.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And try to have
Yeah.
that very youthful energy as an adult. And that might actually, I think you came in a little bit late, but I was talking about vitamin joy. We got to have the
Yes.
vitamin
Yep.
joy in our life.
Yeah.
So I think, the worst thing, Jenny, that you've got going on is that you're deficient in vitamin joy because you take
Mm.
the responsibilities of everybody around you so seriously that you're not giving yourself what you need.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Well, I think that a lot of people can
Mm.
relate to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
People who take care of their loved ones and family and work and all of that, they oftentimes put themselves last on the list. So you're going to be the person that goes out and puts herself first on the list. And then it's interesting because as soon as I say that, I feel like the banging your head on the wall eases up.
Mm-hmm. It does. Yes.
So there's something there for you to consider. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Also, oh, I thought I was done with you. Okay. The person that you need to get down and see eye to eye with. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is this your husband?
He's not my husband.
But like partner?
Yeah, partner. Yeah.
Okay. The only reason I say that is because your dad is asking you to go rediscover what brought you together in the first place.
Okay.
So I think that the both of you are laughing a lot less than you used to. I think you used to laugh a lot more when you
Mhm.
first got together. And I
Yeah.
think that far be it for me to say, but it feels like whatever relationship, what this has turned into is like a clunky old dry business contract.
Yeah.
I don't want to put it like, I don't, that's a
Yeah.
pretty bold statement, but there's something about getting a little playful, laughing. And what I'm seeing is, are you familiar with North Conway, New Hampshire? North
Yeah.
Conway, New Hampshire?
Yeah.
Okay. There's a place called Adventure Suites.
Okay.
I've never been there, but like there's suites that like, here's the Western suite, here's the like jungle suite, here's
Oh,
the
yeah.
each of the rooms have like different themes and hot
Yeah.
tubs and all that.
Yeah.
There's something of like, you guys need to go have a play weekend.
Okay.
Okay. Like get away from your responsibilities, get
Yeah.
away from all those things that'll make you fuddy-duddy adults, and try
Right.
to find out what made you laugh together, like
Okay.
what made each other laugh.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing like wilderness stuff, like hiking or skiing,
Yeah.
like getting out and about,
Yeah.
doing things and laughing. Remember to bring it back to the simple basics. I think we all need that reminder.
Mm.
Okay,
Yeah.
now with you I'm done. Thank you for being
Okay.
here. Okay, I'm going to take you off spotlight. Go home or go say hi to your dad, go to your people. Okay. Now I am going to bring forth the next one. Okay. The next one is another man. He's a man. He feels like a brother to me. Now, when I hear the word brother, it could actually be a blood brother, um, or it could be like a friend. This is somebody who he either rode a motorcycle, he might have passed away on a motorcycle. I'm getting a sense of reckless behavior would have taken him out of this world. There is this sense that like he participated in his own passing. I really distinctly feel like he's trying to talk to his sister here. So can I ask anybody here, brother, motorcycle brother, could be a friend, tragedy around this person, um tragedy around this person. Do we have a motorcycle person? Okay, Mary Ellen Parento. I don't want to. I don't. I'm gonna take you off mute there. Go ahead and tell me, Mary Ellen. Do I call you Mary Ellen?
Yeah. Hey,
Okay.
you.
Thank you for being here.
All works.
Okay. So, Mary Ellen, did you have a brother who liked motorcycles?
Big time.
Big time. Okay. He passed away from them?
No, not really. No.
Okay. Did he pass away from something self-inflicted?
Um, perhaps.
Hmm.
Perhaps.
Yeah, I'm putting us up on spotlight together. There we go. There we go. Okay. It's interesting because so I do think this is for you. This man, whoever he is, passed too early. You know this, right? He passed too early. Okay. Things interestingly from his perspective, Mary Ellen, he's very happy that he passed early. And the reason being is that if he'd have stayed here, like his life would have been hellacious. Like there would have been torment and turmoil and pain and, who knows, disease, what have you. So there's that perspective that, yay, I checked out. I went home early. I left vacation early, went home early. Now, the interesting thing too, Mary Ellen, is this guy is like talking to me about, he comes here as a motorcycle guy, right? Like a motorcycle guy. But there would have been so much more to him than that. Like I would have read, I would have liked history, I would have been able to have like deep conversations about those things. Can I ask you, he's showing me the Venn diagram. You know what a Venn diagram is? The two overlapping circles? Okay.
Yeah.
There would have been a lot that the two of you had in common, yeah?
Entirely.
Okay.
Yeah. Very much so.
And it's very much like,
very tight.
yeah, I want to talk to you about history and politics and food, and I want to talk to you about all the stuff. And it's like, what he's saying is like we used to build off of one another. I used to say something, and you used to say something, and I used to say something, and it used to build and build and build, and it used to be like, we'd get mad, and then we'd get angry, and then we'd laugh, and then we'd love, and like, it was just this full rainbow of human experience.
Very close.
Interesting. He wants to thank you for, and this would have happened after he passed. He's saying that you've done one hell of a reinvention. He's talking to you about reinventing yourself. Like, it's interesting because he just showed me like a costume change, like backstage. Like I've seen Cher, like one of the best concerts I've ever been to, Cher, right? And she just do these costume changes, boom, 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 boom. There's something about you changing your identity after he passed.
I was kind of in the process when he did that.
Gotcha. So you
Yeah.
finished that process, reinvented yourself.
Are we ever finished?
That's a really great point. Yet, this is a very significant thing. This is like a very significant thing. It's like, again, I feel like the identity got pulled out, like one identity got pulled out and then another identity got put there. That could be like a divorce. That could be something very significant. But it does feel like congratulations for like that significant change. Okay. Yeah. Other thing too. Well, this is strange. Okay. Would you have known him to be involved in the military, army, anything like that?
No, he wasn't. He had some very close friends that were.
Gotcha. Okay. I want to tell you like who's with him in the world of spirit. So he's got like what feels like soldiers, but he's kind of talking to me like forgotten soldiers. If you've ever been to a cemetery and there's places for like forgotten soldiers, I think the people that are with him in spirit have been forgotten.
Maybe, I don't know.
There's also an indication too that they're younger than him. That's an interesting feeling. Like there's a very protective fatherly element of like where he is in spirit. He has people around him. He's caring for them. He's like nurturing them, caring for them. But there's like an element of caring for the broken and the forgotten. So he's doing something in the world of spirit to help people heal and get on their feet.
I have a son-in-law that passed 2.5 years ago. So,
Would have been younger. Yep.
yeah.
Would have been younger. I'm sure that person carried a bit of trauma and pain into the world of spirit. So
Absolutely.
that's what he's talking about. Younger person. Like you think of a soldier, you think PTSD, somebody who's got to recover from those sorts of things. Okay. Now, remember how I was talking about him wanting to talk to you about politics and religion and mythology and food and able to talk and talk and talk and talk. He's encouraging you to listen to those nudges to write your own book. Are you getting those nudges?
I journal.
Nope. Nope. Sorry, that's not what it is. It's writing your own book, like becoming like publishing, self-publishing, doing what have you. And there's something else. Like if you're feeling that, you really got to lean into it because I think it's him. And the interesting thing is, Mary Ellen, and I'm not in the interest of like blowing hot air at people's skirts at all. And I'm not like trying to make you feel super good about yourself, not unintentionally, anyways. Um, but you don't have like a PhD, do you?
No, no. I know a little about a lot of things, if that makes sense. I've
Okay,
had it
whatever book,
for years.
well, whatever book that you're writing or whatever book that you're going to get out into the world, he's asking you to dumb it down. He's saying make sure you don't use words over 3 syllables. So, do you speak with big words?
Sometimes I'm known to.
Okay. He's just saying make it accessible, make it like you're talking to a sixth grader. You know what I mean?
I do.
You know the story of your father's father?
I do.
Okay. There's got to be something significant there. You've got to have some sort of history around it. He's saying, tell the story of your father's father. There's got to be pictures, history, story, something like that about your father's father. He wants you to talk about your father's father.
And I'm the one who has it all.
You have it all. Okay. I'm gonna show you why he wants you to do this. So I wrote this book for my grandmother, Son of a Sea Cook. It's about my grandma. It's not a very big book. Very important to my family right now. Super important to the people in my family 100 years from now. So there's something about you've got to have descendants, daughters, grandchildren, nieces, nephews. You got to have family that would benefit from the story of your father's father. So this is very important. Like, he's putting his foot on my neck to tell you how important it is to try to get that story in print and preserved. There's something about people needing information about our ancestors and our beloved dead and the strength and the stories that they would have gone through that we need to now bring to this world. Okay, we got to bring it to this world. Do you find yourself getting annoyed at the world?
Frustrated, annoyed. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, he's like, here's an interesting thing. He goes, you're just rubbed raw because you haven't had enough cheese. Are you hangry? Do you like cheese?
That is so something he would say with a few more expletives in there. Definitely.
I mean, that's a really strange message, like you're rubbed raw by the world because you haven't had enough cheese. Like, what the hell?
It's his way of nicely saying, get the stick out, laying the F up, have more fun than what you're doing now.
That is a big takeaway for all of us because, like I said, we're all going to die. So, can I also ask you too? Do you have a grandson?
Yes.
Okay. He's showing me you playing checkers with your grandson, not chess, but checkers. How old's your grandson?
I have numerous grandsons.
Okay. We're talking like 5'7", like 5'7" age.
Yep.
You got one of those age?
I do.
Play checkers with him. Show him how to play checkers. Real simple games. We live in the age of technology and tablets and Minecraft and all of that. It's a cognitive thing, but it's interesting because I have to wonder if there's stress in that family. Do you know is there stress in that family?
Big
Because it's
time.
like, well, what it is it's like play checkers with this kid so he doesn't have to hear the stress.
Yes.
Okay, so
completely.
okay. The other thing, again, here's like the guidance and the advice that Spirit wants you to do. He's saying this man would have done this if he was here, but he's not here, so he can't. He's saying buy birdhouse kits. Like I've never heard of this. Like buy a kit of all the pieces that are like of a birdhouse and put it together, like nail it together, paint it, hang it out. Those okay. That's really important for the cognitive development of your grandchildren. This is about cognitive development. This is, and one of the things that's really important for us right now is that there's a certain group of us here on this call and in this world that did not grow up in our developmental years with the internet or technology.
Right.
There's a lot of people in this world that are growing up in their developmental years with internet technology, social media, cell phones, cameras, all of that. Not for better or worse, but they're different people. So there's something about taking the wisdom of our life and giving it to the people that are below us. Okay. And then in the same way that your grandfather, your father of your father's story is pretty cool, your story is pretty cool. So you want to make sure that as you know the story of your grandfather and that informs you who you are, this is really important that you make sure that your grandkids know your story, know what you've been through, know your reinvention, all of that. Okay?
That makes sense.
Well, it's important.
Yeah.
Oreo cookies, coffee, Thin Mints. So I'm getting like all sorts of things back to back for him. Like it feels like cookies and cream. Oreo cookies, coffee, Thin Mints, like the Girl Scout Thin Mint
Yeah.
cookies or the grasshoppers. Did that
Yeah.
man like any of those?
Yeah,
All of them?
all of them.
Okay. Very, very basic. Like, again, thank you, Amy, for being here. Amy's saying goodbye. She has to run. But I want to thank you. No, 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 no. Hold on, hold on. He's talking about something that would have been made in your childhood. I don't know if it's like a small cookie or something like that. It feels something, again, this is about getting the kids in there, getting their hands dirty, showing them the basic things. Do you remember anything that would have been made as like a small cookie as a kid?
I know that even my dad, when he was hungry, would whip up a batch of sugar cookies because they were so easy.
Okay. Your dad must have liked coffee because I keep getting like the coffee with it. You know what I mean? Like coffee, coffee, coffee. So, do you know that recipe of sugar cookies? I'm sure
I
they're
did.
easy to make. Okay. Can you show those grandkids of yours how to make an easy batch of sugar cookies and then say, oh, this is what your great grandfather used to do? All of that. The other thing, too, for you, and some of the stuff that comes through for me, Mary Ellen, is medical stuff, physical stuff. I'm being directed to the back of your neck, which is spirit's symbol for me of acupuncture, acupressure. So back stuff, shoulder stuff, lower back, hip stuff, sciatica, any of those things, if you have it, please consider acupressure or acupuncture. Okay.
There's a neck. Spot on.
Please, yeah. It's important because we want our loved ones to rest in peace. They're aware of us. They're aware of our hearts and our minds and our bodies. And if we want them to rest in peace, we got to live in peace. You know, my grandmother, like I want her to rest in peace. Her grandson has to be at peace.
Right.
That's just the nature of love. It has nothing to do with spirit or life or death or life. It has nothing to do with that. It's just, I want the people that I love to be at peace. I have to be at peace. So my suffering doesn't cause them suffering. Okay.
Mhm.
Which means back tooth or TMJ, he's bringing my attention to like something here. Do you have a back tooth or TMJ, something in the side of your face that bothers you?
Occasionally.
Okay. Just please take care of it if you can, and if you can't, make sure that you take some Advil or a sugar cookie or something like that. Okay. All right. So thank you for being here. And the interesting thing that he wants me to say to you is this: please talk to him. Like that analogy of the one-way mirror. Do you know what I mean? Like they're right here. When I leave you in this session today, your spirits go with you. They don't go with me. They're going with you. So to keep that conversation going is very important to them because they're right here. It's just they're on the other side of that one-way mirror.
Right.
Okay.
It's interesting because normally I do, not
Okay.
just, but all of my ancestors, but I haven't for a while, and no particular reason really.
Got a little distracted, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, we've been through some stuff over the past couple months here.
Yeah, we have.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, thank you. Also, one last message for you because I feel the other one coming in, but this one, like, he wants to say whatever spiritual texts that you hold dear. Now, this could be something from like Ram Dass or Deepak Chopra or even the Bible, whatever spiritual texts that you hold dear, get them out and start to look at them again. What I get is that he says that you're insufficient in grace. That's interesting. Like your grace, the grace that you have for your fellow human is deficient, insufficient funds, like in the bank. You don't have enough grace for the rest of humanity. So it takes going back to those spiritual texts that would have really touched you. I think that you need to go back to whatever spiritual home, like that would fulfill your soul. like spiritual texts to go back to that to help you with whatever sort of suffering that you've got around current events? Okay. I've never had to say this before to anybody else, Mary Ellen. How can you fill your grace meter? Like the grace, like how can you fill grace up, right? That's an important skill to cultivate.
We know. And I haven't done it for about 3 months. So, yeah.
Go back to the well, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Now, just like the next one is wild. This is a wild spirit. Like, I can't believe I have to say this. So I'm going to take you off spotlight. Here we go. I'm going to remove my spotlight. And now everybody listen to the next one that we have going on here. Okay. Final spirit is a cat. All right. So I have a cat here. This cat would have been an indoor, outdoor cat. This cat, I'm not sure you would have known it to be gone or missing. It's indicating to me that it would have been hit in the road. It was too hungry. It was chasing some sort of rodent, mouse, chipmunk, or something. This would have been really like like a one cat household. This cat would not have liked other cats. There is a cat here looking for its owner. Cat, an indoor outdoor cat. You would have loved this cat because it would have been the process of bringing that love to that cat would have evolved its spirit. So I need somebody who would have had a single cat household. This cat feels like a male cat to me, grumpy. Lori, I see you raising your hand. Okay. Um, please unmute yourself.
Um, oh,
Hey.
so I have had several cats over the time. My daughter had taken in a cat, and she was in New York at the time, so she had
Hold
one.
on, Lori. Could you do me a favor? Could you get a
Sure.
little closer to your computer? I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Let me raise my volume. My daughter, I've had several cats, but my daughter had taken in a cat. So she would have had a single cat. And it was a grumpy cat. So, it did pass away about a year ago or so. She also had taken in another cat and it escaped. It got out and she tried to find it and couldn't. So I don't know if that's what you're picking up or if somebody else has it. So,
Okay, so Lori, my question for you is one, the only way for this spirit to come through to me is because it would have been full of love.
right.
Okay, so this would have been the only way the spirit could show up to me today is that if this spirit had love for somebody that was here. So let's narrow it down for you. Somebody like a cat that would have
Right.
had a love for you specifically, not your daughter's cat, but this cat would have had
Right.
love for you. And I'm saying that like this might be you or it might be
Right.
somebody else
Yeah.
here, but I know that the only way they can come through is if there's love. So the one that you couldn't find, is that
Right.
the one that you loved?
No, that I wasn't attached to it. So the other one, it was named Bobcat, had a little bobtail. She named it Robbie. We loved, and I was taking care of it for her, and it had gotten sick, so and had passed. So there's always been a lot of sadness around that. So we've had other cats though that I've been very close to that I've missed that have been indoor
So
outdoor.
and this might be for somebody else. Again, I just want to like
That's
make sure
right.
that
That's
it's
why
for
I'm
you
not
because
sure. But
this is
yeah,
a cat that got hit in the road. Okay. Like I very much distinctly feel like this cat. I also get like somebody you would have lived near like a highway or like a big road, something like that. The cat would have like lived for a while near this road, would have been able to like get it, like survive. It was be a surprise that this cat wasn't able to make it.
we did have one cat that we took in for a short time. Wonderful cat had been hit by a car before we took it in as a stray. A little orange and white cat named George, and it was a wonderful cat. And the vet had said that we'd have him, and then suddenly he would pass. So we had him for only a couple of years. So
And then he was just disappeared.
no, well, he got lost in the house. He hid. So, as I say, I don't know if that's the one. We've had probably 8 cats over the course of time. So,
Well, the information that I have for you, or whomever is here for this cat, is
right,
very much like there would have been like an air of mystery around it. Like, where did the cat go?
right.
You know, where
That
did the
sounds,
cat go?
yes, that sounds like the cat that we had here for a short time, one of my daughter's cats, because she was living here and had the cat for a short time, and it was a wonderful cat. Except that, and it was sick. People didn't think it would make it. She nursed it back to health, and then it got out. It was gone. We searched all over for about a year, and somebody said probably about 6 months ago that they saw it. So it's a mystery as far as what happened to the cat. I don't know if that's the same one.
This is like a major. I'm getting like a lot of traffic outside of this house. Like this house is close and there's a lot of
4,000
traffic.
cars during the day. It's a very busy road.
Very busy road. Okay.
Yes, so that's why we
Um,
figured he wouldn't have made it. So
I also want to ask you, is there a way that you have memorialized this cat? Like put a picture up, done something to memorialize or make a tribute to the cat?
we have for several of the cats, yes, and for that one too, yes.
Okay, so there's that level of appreciation. So the reason why a cat would come through, and this is really important, is because people have a lot of questions about animals. Do they carry on?
Right.
You know, do they carry on? Are we going to meet them when we pass? And what I can tell people definitively is if we loved that animal and that animal loved us, we gave it a name, we gave it a sense of self, then yes, absolutely. A stray cat, a feral cat that never had the chance to develop a relationship with another human, like a human being or what have you, the energy of that cat when it passes away is just going to get kind of recycled into the earth. But there's something about the love and the individuation that we give an animal that, as far as I can tell, evolves its soul, gives it the ability to carry on, meet us where we go.
Right.
So, interestingly, Lori, as I'm saying this, when I was talking to Mary Ellen about her neck and stuff
Right.
going on with her neck,
Yes.
when I look at you, I'm getting the same message. So,
Yes.
what I would have
TMJ.
said,
Yes.
you got a neck thing too?
Yeah, and TMJ. So
And TMJ. Okay, so one right into the next. Okay.
yes.
So, thank you for being here. And interestingly, that daughter that you were referencing before, I'm
Yes.
supposed to thank you for setting an example on how to carry on.
Mm.
So, you know, you're setting that example for her, how to carry on, to grieve, loss of pets, loss of animals, what have you. Interestingly, too, was she very upset by the election? Okay. The reason being is that I'm supposed to give you praise or thank you for showing her how to grieve a life
Mm.
that she wished for that she didn't get.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like we often have
Yes.
times have to grieve lives that we thought we were going to have, but then we
Yeah.
didn't have. Um, Interestingly, I'm supposed to tell you that you're skillful in that, whether it's around politics or not,
Oh, yes.
and that you've shown your daughter how to carry on in that way. So I want to thank you for that.
Thank you. She's
Now I've gone a little
amazing.
bit longer. I wanted to keep this to an hour, so I'm going to wrap it up. Podcast, try to keep it short. I want to thank everybody for being here. Thank you for participating in the very first episode of this. Every other week, there will be a session like this that you can hop onto, and you can trust spirits are going to talk to me before it happens. So I'm going to do my best to get this up and available for listening as soon as possible. I want to thank you for being here with the inaugural episode of Die, Laugh, Love. Remember that you too shall die. Before you do, get in as much love and laughter as you can. So very important for us all, no matter where we come from and no matter what we feel about the election. We all need love. We all need laughter because we're all going to die. And on that note, thank you again. Take care of yourselves. Be well, and I will see you at the next one. Bye.